Welcome into OutKick the show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I am taping this because I'm on the road again today. So we are taping this on, what is today, Monday morning. A lot of awesome news coming in the near future, but I'm working hard on a lot of different things. But what an awesome, phenomenal, incredible weekend it was. I got to tell you, watching the U.S. win in OT on the Jack Hughes goal for the first time in 46 years, the United States are the gold medal champions of the Olympics. And I didn't come into the Winter Olympics with a high degree of expectation. I just didn't for whatever reason, because primarily, look, I'm a kid from Nashville. I've never really done any of the Winter Olympic events. I'm not a skier. I'm not a snowboarder. I've barely even been on ice skates before. I didn't play hockey. I think we have one ice skating rink in Nashville when I was growing up. I've been on it a couple of times. So I can't appreciate necessarily in the same way that I can for a lot of different summer Olympic events. But I ended up watching a lot of the competition. And first of all, congratulations to the United States, 12 gold medals, the most ever, breaking the record of 10. But I just felt a profound sense of patriotism across the board from the vast majority of Olympic athletes. And the way that the U.S. men's team and the way that the U.S. women's team both beat Canada and just went all in on America as the greatest country in the history of the world, it reminded me a lot of the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s that I grew up in when sports brought us all together. You know, I interviewed Bo Jackson at the Super Bowl, and I hope some of you got a chance to watch that. That was a bucket list moment for me because I grew up such a huge Bo Jackson fan. But really, I've written a lot about this over the years, and I know many of you who are around my age, some a bit younger, a lot of you who are much younger are not ever going to have experienced this era. I got to tell you, prior to ESPN going super woke and Caitlyn Jenner and Colin Kaepernick and the Missouri protest on campus and all these things, sports was something that connected every single one of us. Whether it was Michael Jordan, whether it was Bo Jackson, if you grew up like I did in the 80s and the 90s, and I know some of you are older and you grew up in the 70s and you felt this way to a certain extent too, and some of you who are even older probably feel that echo of the 1960s, but I never experienced it. Sports was something that brought every single American together. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, gay, straight, male, female, whatever your background was. And I felt it in this Winter Olympics. I really did. And I know, and I'm going to take some shots at people who try to still drag us back into the muck of division, but I really, really felt it. And I'm going to talk more about the U.S. men's hockey team, but some of you may have seen the clips of me talking about this already because I talked about it on Clay and Buck and I talked about it on Fox News. I think it was really crystallized for me when I watched, my wife wanted to watch, the figure skating gold medal competition that Alysa Liu won. Now, Alysa Liu is the daughter of a man named Arthur Liu, who in 1989 fled communist China because he had stood up in favor of democracy. He came to the United States and he's had several kids, and Alysa now has become the first gold medal winner in ice skating since 2002. She represented American exceptionalism on the global stage. And she did it, and this is such a good story and it should be talked about more, despite the fact that communist China, when they saw her talents and knew they were hosting the Winter Olympics in Beijing in 2022, they tried to recruit her. They offered her family millions of dollars for her to flip sides and ice skate for China instead of the United States. She said no. She wouldn't do it because her dad believed in basic human rights and the exceptionalism of America, the greatest country that's ever existed in the world, he said, no, we're going to turn down money and stand on truth. It's one of the greatest stories we've ever seen in Olympic history. And you can contrast it with Eileen Gu. Beautiful, super smart, nearly a perfect score on the SAT, Stanford student. It's almost impossible to get into Stanford. It's one of the greatest campuses anywhere in the world. She was born and raised in the United States. She's the greatest skier. Guys can tell me exactly what she was, what type of skier she is. She won another gold medal. She's won multiple gold medals. She chose to ski for China. She took tens of millions of dollars because I believe her mom is Chinese. China came in and said, we'll give you tens of millions of dollars. Now, China doesn't even allow you to compete for the Chinese Olympic team and be a citizen of another country. So it's possible that Eileen Gu actually renounced her American citizenship, the country in which she was born, to take tens of millions of dollars to go and compete for China. She turned her back on the country that raised her, on the country she grew up in, on the country where she trained, on the country where she's gone to college. And some people say, well, there's different people who represent different countries. Yeah, but usually they're not the best in the world. I get it. If you have dual citizenship and you live in the United States and you don't have a chance to make the United States team, but you can make the team for Moldova, or you can make the team for, I don't know, Nigeria. And so you decide that you're going to compete because you're just desperate to be an Olympian. But to be the best in the world and be the best in the world to a large extent because of American exceptionalism and then turn your back on the country, I think that story, Alysa Liu versus Eileen Gu, is so fascinating. Now, Eileen Gu has come out and said, people are saying mean things to me. Yeah. Are you surprised? They should. Marketplace of ideas is real. No, don't do anything to her. Don't threaten her. But it is fully within your rights to point out that she was born an American and she turned her back on the United States. And meanwhile, Alysa Liu did the exact opposite. Eileen Gu traded her country for money. She's a traitor, in my opinion. Now, not necessarily Benedict Arnold, right? She hasn't taken up arms against the country. But in the war of cultural thought, she chose a country that doesn't believe in basic human rights. She refused to answer questions. Go look him up, Jimmy Lai, what has happened to the freedom of speech in Hong Kong. This guy who ran a media company, Apple News, I believe, was what it was called, or Apple Daily, in Hong Kong, is in prison for the rest of his life for criticizing the Chinese Communist government. Eileen Gu is super smart, nearly a perfect score on the SAT. She's majoring in international relations. She said she didn't know enough about the story to comment on it. She was asked about Uyghur slave labor in China. Also said she didn't know enough about it to be able to comment on it. Truth, justice, human rights, they're all real. And a lot of times the Olympics can crystallize those. And many people in the United States stood on the side of American exceptionalism. Most of our athletes did. And I don't care about what their politics are. Somebody was tweeting me the other day. They're like, well, you know, Alysa Liu is a Democrat. I don't care. I don't care who you vote for. When I watch the Olympics, I want American exceptionalism to dominate. I want the results in the Olympics to reflect what I believe to be true, which is the United States is the greatest country in the history of the world. And I want our athletes to unabashedly believe that. I want them to feel that in their soul. And that's why what happened with Jack Hughes felt so great to me. For the entirety of the American men's hockey team, they flat out said the pride that they felt and the American exceptionalism that they represent. That picture that was up there of Jack Hughes teeth out, I'm going to be honest with y'all. If I lost a tooth, I'd be curled up in the fetal position crying for a week. I would. I'd be like, oh my God, I lost a tooth. I'm going to have to get a fake tooth. I'm going to have to go to the dentist. I hate going to the dentist. They're going to have to put some the gas on me. I'm going to have to wear the mask. I'm going to have a fake tooth for the rest of my life. Oh my God. This guy lost a tooth, stayed in the game and scored the winning goal. We got guys tweaking their ankles in the NBA and taking 20 games off. We got dudes getting sprained pinkies. Can't play for months. Oh my God, my pinky's hyperextended. I can't play. This dude took a friggin' stick to the teeth. His teeth are out. He stayed in the game and scored the winning goal. If I lost a tooth, I'd have to take days off radio. I'd be like, oh, but you want me to talk on the radio now? I lost a tooth. Unbelievable toughness. I love this kid. By the way, he's also a reader. He said he took a book to the Olympics. My standard is low for readers. My 15-year-old, I can't get him to read anything. Kids today, you can't get them to read anything. Jack Hughes took the Odyssey to the Olympics. He's actually reading a physical book. I love him. I love everybody on this U.S. men's hockey team for what they represent. Not just that they won. Wear it, Canada. We just beat you in your only sport with American kids. But the fact that they believe in American exceptionalism. I think we have a couple of cuts. Here is Jack Hughes saying, I think this is the one where he's like, we got great dentists. I love this country. I'll be fine. What a badass. Watch.
And we're the gold medalists, so I'm so happy that USA Hockey's on top.
You not only have that as a reminder, you got that as a reminder too. Did that just show about this game?
I'm lucky I'm from the best country in the world, and we got great dentists there too, so I'm lucky I'm American, and they're going to fix me right up.
Standing there listening to the anthem, what's going through your head?
Just so proud. I'm so proud to be American. I'm so proud of this group. I'm so happy that we could win. You know, we have so many people here supporting us. We have so many people back home supporting us, and you know, we're so thrilled with how this whole tournament played out, and you know, just an unbelievable moment.
Hockey and football, dudes, man, they are built different. I'm not kidding with you. If I lost a tooth, it would take me months to recover from losing a tooth. This dude just goes right out and wins. I love everything about it. Okay, we got a couple of cuts. One of the most absolutely iconic photos ever of him draped in the American flag. I loved it. We got a couple of different cuts here. Guys, let's just start running these, and I'll react to them as we play them. This is in the locker room after the game. Let's start with the fact that Kash Patel, who is the director of the FBI, is a monster hockey fan. He was the highest-ranking American official, to my knowledge, at the U.S.-Canada hockey game. He's there in a USA sweater. He shows up. They invite him into the locker room after the game. I don't know if this is the one. Is this the one of him swilling the beer? Let's show the one of him, whichever one you guys have got up first. There are two. We'll play them both. One of them is, this is him. Kash Patel calls the president of the United States, Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump in the postgame locker room addresses the team. I don't understand how you can watch this and not love it. God bless the USA. President Trump, watch.
Congratulations. That was an unbelievable game. I don't know if one person that wasn't, everybody that called me said, I'm watching the hockey game. I don't know if anybody that wasn't. And you're going to be proud of that game for 50 years as you grow older. I mean, it was amazing. So we love you guys. Congratulations. And I hope to see you, Kash, Tuesday night. And I want to shake hands. I'm going to shake hands with everybody, but I got to shake hands with that goalie.
Tuesday night. We'll see you Tuesday night, Mr. President.
See you Tuesday night.
I'm driving the bus, boss. We're bringing the whole bus.
That is absolutely badass. Kash Patel is now being criticized by left-wing media. Let me put that up. This is, he also chugged a beer and celebrated. And now left-wing media is upset. And they posted this. See if we can grab that video before we're done, because they said in the video, hey, this is something that, well, let me read it for you. Multiple sources have sent me and another person at MS Now this video, quote, appearing to show FBI Director Kash Patel guzzling from a beer and partying in the locker room with men's U.S. hockey. His office insisted this was strictly a business trip. We at MS Now News will share what we learn. That is Carol Linig, and she shared that video, which we certainly should be able to share as well, of Kash Patel. But I responded, we have learned, Carol, that you and your colleagues are all total and complete pussies. And I do have to say this. If you wonder how left-wingers have lost America, legacy media, American men, legacy media, and everyone in the left of the Democrat Party basically have lost men, it's reactions like this. That is awesome. Okay? Every red-blooded American man, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, who watched that hockey game, if they were in the government, and if they were the highest-ranking government official there, and if they were invited into the post-game locker room, would have chugged a beer and celebrated with the team if they were in any way normal. And look, I have said for a long time, some of you will remember the phrase JBN, just be normal. I am the most normal dude on the planet. I really do believe this. There is not very much different between you and me, and the reason why my shows have had success and why my companies have had success is because I speak to the vast majority of American men, and a lot of women too, every single day. And most of you, you may not agree with me all the time, but you listen and you say, yeah, that's kind of a normal take. A normal take is you should 100% be in the locker room. And he called President Trump from the locker room to congratulate the team. I'm sorry. Is that not one of the most awesome things that could ever happen if you represent the United States of America? To have someone, while you are celebrating, say, oh, by the way, the president was watching your game. Let me put him on the phone so he can congratulate you on behalf of all Americans out there. You tell me how that is anything other than absolutely awesome. What are you investigating? First of all, Carol, they've shared the emails. Kash Patel was doing multiple things while he was overseas in Italy. Okay? And we have to stop with this idea. I got to be honest with you, that if you're somewhere other than Washington, D.C., you aren't working. Do you know what? I work all the time. You know where I work? Everywhere that I am. You know how I do that? Because technology is such that you can be in touch with everyone no matter where you are in the world. But he had meetings. If he has to reimburse a few $1,000s over this, so be it. I can't believe that this is the hill Democrats are dying on. It's not just Carol here. It's also Jemele Hill. I went on, I'll read you my fan fiction, my fun jam of Jemele Hill. I went on and I knew, unfortunately, that there were going to be left-wing media outlets that were going to try to divide us when we're trying to celebrate. I'm just going to share several of those, okay? And I'm going to read them. I'm going through my Twitter feed right now. This was the Huffington Post, which got things started. If waving the American flag or chanting USA turns you off right now, you're not alone. And I responded, fuck you guys. The Huffington Post is owned by BuzzFeed, which is near bankruptcy. and the company has completely collapsed because it has no audience, and there is basically no one who actually has that opinion who is an American sports fan at all. But I then said it was only a matter of time why I was rooting for Canada. A joint op-ed from Keith Olbermann and Jemele Hill on their discomfort with American exceptionalism will probably be a New York Times headline within a few hours. 5 hours later, it was a headline from The Atlantic. You can put up Jemele Hill's article headline. And here was my predicted Jemele Hill article, trying to write it as satirically as I possibly could, but you know that things like this were in there. So here was my mock prediction of the article that Jemele Hill actually wrote that you can see on the screen now. The United States hockey team was too white, too male, and too pro-America. Too pro-Trump for my taste. Was that our national hockey team or a gathering of white supremacists harassing a man at night in Chicago for just trying to get a Subway sandwich? And they played on ice, y'all. Ice. When the winning overtime goal happened, I fell to my knees and wailed. Tears poured down my face for Renee Good, for Alex Preddy, for the fact that the U.S. men's hockey team didn't even let Colin Kaepernick try out, even though he would have been the best player without a doubt. Now, don't get me wrong. The Canadian team isn't perfect. They don't have any trans players, but they do have 2 gay Eskimos. And if you ask me to choose between white supremacists and gay Eskimos, I'm taking the gay Eskimos faster than Nancy Pelosi hits buy on an insider trading tip. Before this column continues, I would like to apologize for not acknowledging it was written on stolen lands at the outset. I'm so sick of white men. Leaving aside democracy, the rule of law, the internet, antibiotics, and the wheel, what have white men ever accomplished anyway? They're all overrated garbage. Plus, if Harriet Tubman had been allowed to play hockey, she would have been the greatest hockey player of all time. Fact. But instead, she had to run the Underground Railroad because of white male racists, like the U.S. men's hockey team. So sure, go ahead and celebrate, racists, but don't expect me to join in. I'll be on Blue Sky, where we still have the freedom to keep people from saying things that hurt our feelings. Jemele, fist to the sky, Hill, out. Now, I'm telling you, that's kind of a work of art. And if we clip that and do a little bit of jazz with it, put in some funny graphics, I think it will go, this is a prediction, more viral than anything Jemele Hill has ever said or written in a positive way in the last several years. But I did think that was emblematic of everything that was fantastic. Can we play, by the way, do we have the Toby Keith, the American men's hockey team singing Toby Keith in the locker room? I think we have that. I want to hit that just here as we put a bow on the awesomeness of the U.S. Olympics. I'm gonna stand for your name, and now is the Statue of Liberty started shaking her fist, and the eagle will fly, and it's gonna be hell when you hear Mother Freedom start ringing her bell. Okay, couple of other things that are out there, non-Olympics related. Let's see, 225. Oh, this is fun. I don't know how many of you have seen this. So Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War, bench pressed 315 pounds. He did one max out of 315. 315, for those of you who have never been in gyms on the bench press or have never thrown around any free weights at all, 315 for somebody of Pete Hegseth's size is pretty phenomenal. And that's 3 plates on each side. And we played that on the Clay and Buck radio show, and I said I thought me doing 225 was impressive until I saw Pete Hegseth doing 315. So 225 is 2 plates on each side. Pete Hegseth did 315, which is 3 plates on each side. And a bunch of you said there's no way that you, Clay, can bench 225 pounds. So we have a new home gym here in the Travis household. We have recently moved. And so I had my wife film this, and then I had my 15-year-old, the one who doesn't read at all. I had him. He's pretty strong, though. Good for him. I had him as my spotter, and here I am. I did 3 reps of 225. This was, I believe, on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Over the weekend, close to it. Let's watch. 3, 2, 1. Might need help on 3. No, that's all me. That's all me. Triples. Boom. All right, that's not bad. I weigh 185 pounds. All right, so that is substantially more than I weigh. Those of you out there remember that I did 185 10 times, I don't know, like a year ago, when people didn't believe that I could do 185 10 times. So for 46, soon to be 47-year-old men, by the way, nearly, I was not even a year old when the U.S. won the gold medal last time in 1980. So 46 years after Lake Placid. So this is, you're watching a guy who's soon to be 47 years old. 47 years old, 185-pound weight, all natural 225. I don't take any supplements. I don't take yet. Maybe I should. I don't take any, testosterone creams or like steroids or anything like that. So all natural 225 for a 47-year-old seems pretty good. About to be a 47-year-old seems pretty good. So that's 3 reps. I think I can probably get it up to 5 or 6 reps. And since the NFL Combine is starting right now, I don't know how many 46, let's just say guys in their 40s who are involved in sports media in any way, do you think can bench 225 who weigh less than 225? I think it's a pretty small group. So anyway, go lift weights. It'll make you feel better. I like throwing around weights. I'm not claiming that I'm super strong or some freakish athlete. I'm clearly not. But that's more reason why you should be doing it. The best thing you can do, particularly as you get older, is actually do cardio's great, but lifting weights is one of the healthiest things you can do. I don't know. Do we think, is there anybody employed at OutKick that can bench more than me? Is there anybody in the running? I think maybe we had one guy that could maybe bench more than me. That's a indictment of the rest of you because I think I'm nearly the oldest, and certainly we got to have a stronger crew. A couple of other things that are out there. You may have seen Josh Pate interviewed the President of the United States and down in North Georgia. I think that interview has gone up 10, 15 minutes, and he's getting criticized. This is crazy, okay? This whole idea of you shouldn't talk to someone because they said something I disagree with or I don't like, it's the antithesis of everything that should exist in this country, period. I have said it for a long time, but I'll say it again. Back when I did 3HL on 104.5 The Zone, we tried to interview President Obama when he came to Nashville. Obama did not come on the show, but we put in regular requests back in the day to get the President of the United States on the show. I've interviewed Donald Trump 11 times now, basically all over the place, at Mar-a-Lago, in the Oval Office, on Air Force One, at Bedminster. I mean, I have talked to the guy at the Alabama-Georgia game, all over the place. So I've interviewed him 11 times, but we invited Joe Biden on Clay and Buck. We invited Joe Biden on OutKick. Like, I would always talk to the President of the United States, and I will always talk to any, frankly, senator or governor because they're high enough up in the political flow chart that I think it's worthy to talk to them. We had a lot of governors on the shows back in the day. and I will ask them questions that I care about the answer to. To me, anyone who would turn down the president of the United States is either a moron or a liar. There is no middle ground. Whether they're Democrat, Republican, Independent, you talk to the president of the United States if the president of the United States is willing to talk to you. By the way, I would talk to the president of a lot of countries, some of whom have done bad things. I would talk to Bill Clinton. I would talk to, if he were alive, I'd interview Jeffrey Epstein. I would interview people. I'd interview Ghislaine Maxwell if she wanted to be interviewed. And it was possible. I'm not afraid to interview controversial people. In fact, I think that should be one thing we do more, because my belief has always been in the marketplace of ideas. The more of a marketplace there is, the better results we get to. So I think that criticism is crazy. And if you are out there and you're in my audience and you have ever been upset about anybody that I've ever interviewed or anything that I've ever said in my entire media career, guess what? I don't care. I do this for me. If you like it, that's great. But if you don't, bye. Doesn't impact me. So that's the great thing about the marketplace of ideas. If you don't like me, you can say bye. But guess what? I won't care, because I'm going to do shows that matter to me. And if they matter to you too, that's great. But my job is not to try to make everyone in America comfortable and everyone in America happy. In fact, that would be miserable. And my job is to put out the best content that I can every day. Speaking of the best content that I can every day, Netflix Paramount is right now going into extra innings. I believe they have until, is it today or tomorrow? I think there is a very good chance that Paramount is going to end up with Netflix. Why? First of all, I think that the Paramount deal is cleaner. I think there's less antitrust impacts than the Netflix deal. This is for Warner Brothers, by the way. But also over the weekend, I couldn't believe this. Susan Rice, who sits on the board of Netflix, said that when Trump is not in power again, and when Democrats come back into the power, that they're going to go after everybody and try to hold them accountable and punish them for anything they did that left-wing legacy media did not like when Trump was in office. And Trump responded by saying that Susan Rice should be off the Netflix board. I think that ended Netflix's opportunity to get Warner Brothers. I really do. Now, maybe I'm going to end up wrong, but I think that Warner Brothers is going to flip and now say that they agree with Paramount's offer, that Paramount's offer is going to move expeditiously, and I think Paramount's going to end up buying HBO, CNN, all of these different media assets that Warner Brothers has right now. Remember, Paramount put an offer for the entire company out there, and personally, I think that is a better result. I'm not being paid by Paramount, never gotten a dollar from them. I'm not getting paid by Netflix, never gotten a dollar from them. I'm just looking at this as a guy who's pretty plugged in on media. And I think ultimately the best outcome for the marketplace of ideas is for Paramount to buy Warner Brothers, not for Netflix to get Warner Brothers. And really that's about the larger world in which we are living. Now, let me give a praise. What is it? The Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Look up the name of this. It's a little bit of a confusing title for the new HBO Game of Thrones show that's airing. It's incredible. I caught up last night. I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's the best thing that the Game of Thrones world, the Game of Thrones universe, Night of the Seven Kingdom, I think, has done in a long time. It's got great humor. I thought initially that it was more of a humor show. It actually has a Night of the Seven Kingdoms is what it's called. It's just 6 episodes. All of them are like 35 minutes in length. It's phenomenal. It is so good. So praise to HBO for doing that series, for doing that show. I can't believe how good it is. I may do a longer form discussion on it going forward, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody right now. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out sooner rather than later. Okay, let's. Is there anything else out there that I wanted to get? I think I've got everything that I wanted to hit. One more story that is out there. I tweeted a little bit about this. Pay attention to what the Atlanta Braves are doing. The Atlanta Braves are going to announce soon what their plan is for how you're going to be able to watch their baseball games. Right now, they are putting their spring training games on gray television. I am telling you that we are in a dynamic era in rights. The FanDuel network has completely collapsed. All of this regional sports networks basically don't exist now for that we're airing the NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball. To a large extent, that entire network world has ceased to exist. And now everybody is trying to remake the distribution models by which their games will reach fans. The Atlanta Braves have a huge regional base in the Southeast. I'm a longtime shareholder of Atlanta Braves stock. You can go buy it too. I've said publicly, hey, I'm buying and holding this for a long time. I think they're undervalued. But I do think that what they decide to do with their rights package this year is probably the least discussed sports media story in the country. And I would tell you, if you are interested in business, sports business, this is one that you should be paying more attention to. Okay, a couple of other things. We have got, I said I thought I'd hit the end. Gavin Newsom went, I believe, I'm not sure where he's speaking, but he is doing a book. And on his book tour, he came out and he said, hey, I got a 960 SAT and I don't really read. I can barely read, and I'm just as dumb as you guys are. This is his new sales pitch to black voters. Let's watch that. The degree to which politicians in the Democrat Party insult black voters by trying to make a connection with them continues to astound me. Watch.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
I'm as dumb as you are. Gavin Newsom's 2028 presidential campaign. That's a hell of a tagline for Democrat voters. Two more things that I want to close with on an uplifting day. We'll have, by the way, the FS1 show tomorrow. If you haven't checked it out, I'm doing a weekly OutKick show. Sorry, I'll tape it tomorrow. It airs every Wednesday. We'll have a lot to discuss there. Mike Tirico. Well, two things. Let's get first Kash Patel pounding the beer. This is what Democrats and their legacy media allies on the left are investigating. This is, in their mind, unacceptable. Watch. That's what they're upset about. Again, I would submit to you, it's why they have lost, to a large extent, normal sports fan voters, which I wrote about in my most recent book, a bestseller, Balls. Okay, is this a still shot? What do we have of the U.S. men's team here? Or is that just alongside of Tirico? I think that's just a graphic. Let's bring up Mike Tirico closing out. Tirico, for my money, is maybe the most talented sports broadcaster working today. I don't want to take any shots at people specifically, so let me be very clear about that. Who does everything under the sun, whether it is he called the Super Bowl, then he hopped on a plane and he got to Milan and he hosted 2 weeks of coverage from Italy for NBC. And he did it, I thought, flawlessly, straight down the middle. And this, I thought, was a fantastic sign-off from Mike Tirico, talking about everything that we had seen over the past 2 weeks and imparting upon the next generation of young people how they one day could find themselves standing with a medal around their neck as the national anthem of the greatest country in the history of the world plays and they gaze skyward at the flag. Watch.
Because of a drought that almost lasted a half century, those teams are revered. They are held on to forever. And what happened today doesn't take away from the greatness of those teams or the meaning that those teams have in U.S. hockey. But what you saw today was the build of a generation, inspired perhaps by that team that lost in 2010 in Vancouver to the Sidney Crosby golden goal in overtime. Or the team where TJ Oshie had all those shootout goals in 2014. That's when these guys were doing what you're doing, watching on TV. And they were young, and they were living the dream. So for all the young people out there, not just the hockey, but all the Olympics you've watched, those dreams are formed now. Go chase them and go get them. Because our country loves sports, and it brings us together unlike anything else. And if you didn't know that, and if you haven't been watching the last 2 weeks, you saw it in Team USA Hockey, winning the gold over their arch rival Canada here in Milan to wrap up these 25th Olympic Winter Games.
Well said by Mike Tirico. As I get older, I enjoy celebrations of American exceptionalism even more because the culture does matter. It does matter whether people are proud to represent their country. It does matter whether the general public as a whole wants to sit and watch and cheer for American athletes to triumph over everybody else in the world. You can say, hey, it's just sports, but it never is, particularly when it comes to the Olympics. The Olympics reflect and have always reflected where countries stand in the world. America is the greatest and the best country that has ever existed in the history of the world, but it can only remain that way if Americans believe it. There has been and probably will be a continued assault upon the idea that America is a great and just and incredible nation that we all should be very proud of. That's really what much of the left in this country wants to do. They want to tear down and denigrate American history because if we don't have a history to be proud of, then nothing that we were founded upon has any legitimacy, and it also can be torn asunder and tossed to the side. So when we watch the Olympics, yes, it is a sporting competition, but it's also a measure of something else. What is the apex of a country? What does the best and the brightest and the most skilled of our countrymen look like competing against people from other countries? When we win and when our flag rises into the air and we have gold medal celebrations, as we had the most in the history of the Winter Olympics over the past 2 weeks, what we really are signifying is America is and still remains the greatest, best hope of the country, of any country in the history of the world. And so long as America is strong, human rights will be expanding, and the future of human civilization will remain profoundly bright. But when America's light dims, the rest of the world dims with it. We are and will forever be, so long as I am taking a breath, the greatest country in the history of the world. And so long as you all believe it, that will remain true also. That, to me, is what the Olympics ultimately represents. Okay, kids, DBAP unless you need to SBAP. I am running out now to go. I've been doing meetings all over the country for awesome things that are coming in the future. I will soon be talking about them more. But until then, I appreciate all of you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the Olympics as much as I did. God bless this country, and let's keep kicking ass. See y'all.